So I found this game called the Lightkeeper that takes place at this lighthouse, and I started watching this YouTuber that I like play the game, and then I stopped watching because I was like, okay, I got to get this game for myself. It was like $6 on Steam. It only took me like an hour and 45 minutes to complete this game, but it was terrifying. There was multiple times where I screamed. There was one time I nearly threw the mouse. Just came out of my hand.
Welcome back to Side Quests, part of the Mildly Alarmed podcast. Mina, this is Justin, and this week we're going to do a real side quest episode. We're going to do just all the things that we clung to this week to try to stay sane. All that pop culture nerdy shit that we love. So, where do we want to start? We want to start with some comics?
Let's start with
Comics this week?
comics. That's always a
All
fun
right.
place to start.
What you been reading
Um,
this week?
so what I've been reading this week, I don't know why, but I've been trying to force myself to get into Moon Knight. Um, and I've not really been succeeding. I I do have in my collection, in my comic collection behind me, I have the very first four issues of Moon Knight. I found them at a comic thing we went to, and I picked them up. Got a good deal on them, considering that it was like the first Moon Knight issue. Got a really good deal on that, and I brought it home, and I was just kind of reading through some of the pages. I didn't want to handle it too much, but I was reading through some of the pages, and I was like, "Wow, this is really bad," and I didn't really get into it. I thought it was a little corny, and um, but I love his design. I love the way Moon Knight looks. So I was like forcing myself to like this somehow. So I kept trying all these different volumes of Moon Knight and was just kind of coming up unsatisfied until I tried one more time. And I picked this up at my Ultimate Comic shop. I found this graphic novel, Moon Knight by Jeff Lemire. And this kind of gave me what I was looking for when it came to Moon Knight. So one of the things that I really wanted out of Moon Knight was the whole thing of like, is he crazy or not? Like he has the personality or the dissociative disorder, schizophrenic a little bit, about he has multiple personalities and he becomes these personalities and uses them to solve the case. You know, there's like a taxi driver one, there's like Mark Spector, the mercenary, there's the wealthy one, the billionaire type, and then there's Moon Knight, and you always kind of wonder, like, is he nuts? Is he really like these different personalities? Can he really become it, or is he making this all up in his head? This graphic novel does a very good job of like telling that story that I was like looking forward to in Moon Knight, because this one takes place in a mental asylum,
Mm.
and he swears up and down that he's Moon Knight in this mental asylum, and of course they're like, right, of course you are. You're Moon Knight. You know what I mean? It was really good. And as he tries to get, the artwork is also exceptional in this. But as he tries to escape this asylum, he sees things differently than the rest of them do, because he does have friends with him who escape, and they get outside. I'll just give you an example. They get outside the asylum and it's raining in New York City, but what he sees is sand everywhere and giant pyramids. And he's like, there's an evil force that's taking over and I have to stop it. And it's like, is he really seeing this, or is he losing his mind? Does he really belong in the mental institution? Anyway, it was a really great Moon Knight story. Um, best bit of Moon Knight I've read so far, and what I was kind of looking for. The other thing that I read this week, Absolute Batman continues to be absolutely amazing. This new issue number 19, we have right here, introduces the Scarecrow. That's him right over there. Very creepy. He's got buttons for eyes, kind of like the Coraline movie. It also introduces Deathstroke into the Absolute Universe and the Robins. And it turns out that the Robins are run and controlled by that universe's Joker. He kind of uses them as a band of assassins that were trained by Deathstroke. So I kind of like that. And they are going on the hunt for Batman. And I won't reveal why, but there's a very big thing that happens in the Absolute Universe. And it leads them to go on this hunt to stop Batman and turn the people against Batman who are starting to rally against him and the authoritarian themes that are sprinkled throughout the Absolute Universe. So people are starting to turn on their savior. So yeah, Absolute Batman continues to be absolutely amazing. And those are the two things I read this week in comics. What were you reading?
Well, I was reading Firestorm, like
Loved it.
most of the other people who love comics. I loved this. Uh, this is just I think the reason that I love it so much is that it was just so unexpected. I mean, when have any of us cared about Firestorm? Uh,
I did.
not not recently, at least.
Mm-mm.
And I don't know much about Firestorm. I've never really read a Firestorm comic, but there was something about this where I was I'm aware of Firestorm. They referenced it in that Flash TV show.
Yeah.
Like, I might as well give it a chance, right? Amazing. So well written. Such an interesting idea for a Firestorm story where like all of a sudden what's happened to him? He just walks into a town and destroys it and no one knows why. Like there's just it
It was
sets
kind
up
of scary too, a little bit. The way he was destroying the town was a bit frightening.
it was creepy.
It
Yeah. And
was.
the way he reacts to people who come in to try to talk to him, creepy. Just like such a good comic. If you haven't read it, highly recommend picking it up. I don't want to give too much away, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but um really, really well done. And then this comic, Fireborn, which looks crazy. I'm gonna open it up just to show you the art style because I don't think I didn't even show you the art style that's inside this comic. But it's got this very like almost anime looking style art. Trying to find like a good example of it, but like somewhat anime
Oh, yeah.
style art.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just I picked it up because someone at the comic book shop listed it as like their pick of the week, right? And I was like, well, that's interesting. But on the cover it says from the world of lost fantasy. Now, I have never in the history of time had good luck picking up a comic that was part of another world because usually when you start those comics, you feel like you've been dropped into the middle of the story and you have no idea what's going on and nothing's being explained. And you're just like,
You were
this
supposed
is,
to have done your homework and have read the entire
yeah,
volume of the thing that came before it.
yeah. You're just like, this is not for me, clearly.
Right.
I was not a fan of the original, so I guess this is not the place where I get into this story. That was not the case with this one. They there may be references in there that I'm missing because I didn't read Lost Fantasy, which I did pick up the first volume now, so I could read it, but there could be references that I'm missing. But the story itself of this kid who like merges with this weird dragon egg thing, has these powers and it now has to run from something and you don't really know why, but there are like multiple worlds going on from what I can tell. Like it was just enough information to keep me curious about what this world was and but not too much information that I felt like I couldn't follow the story. Um and so I'm actually really intrigued by this. I'm going to keep reading this and see where it goes. And I thought the art style was great. I thought the writing was great. So really, really curious to see what that is like and to read the original Lost Fantasy Volume 1 to see if I feel the same way about that or if it's just the new story that I'm going to get into.
have you got have you got the volume one yet? Have you been able to find it?
I did, yeah.
Okay. So you'll
So
start that soon.
I'm going to start reading that this week and see what it's like.
That's cool. I hope you like that too.
Yeah. The only other thing I read this week was, or finished, I suppose, was this Song to Drown Rivers, which I finally finished. And I loved the way this book was written. I think it's beautifully written. I like the characters that they write, the strong female characters who can actually do the jobs that were assigned to them and aren't like bumbling idiots. Always a plus. Um, it has a very, I'm going to say, stereotypical East Asian fiction ending, which like French cinema, they always like to end with a tragedy, basically,
Yeah.
because they find it to be more realistic.
No, yeah, that's why I
Um,
love, not to sound like a film geek, but that's why I like French films.
yeah. Uh, it's really American audiences that like a happy ending. Everybody else tries to be a little bit more realistic. East Asian fiction tends to be a little bit like realistic with a side of fantasy. Uh, Interesting. It was an interesting ending. It was an interesting book. It was really well written. Um, the emotional pulls are very interesting in the way that the characters interact with each other and try to navigate their various tasks is really interesting. So definitely highly recommend that as well. What else were you up to this week? Any video games you've been playing?
Yes. I started playing a very, very spooky game. I actually recorded it and gonna try to make a video out of it if anyone's interested. But I started watching another YouTuber play this game, which I typically do if there's like a game that I like. I'll watch like I'm not gonna play this game myself, but I'll watch somebody else play it, just so I can see the story and see kind of what it's about. And I found this independent scary game called The Lightkeeper. And I was drawn to it at first because I really like old like nautical aesthetic. Like I'm like interested in like old shipwrecks. Like I was for many, 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 many years. I have been like I love the Titanic. I've read all the books that I could read about the Titanic. A Night to Remember is one of my favorite books. And I'm like into shipwrecks, and I'm also like weirdly like creeped out by lighthouses. I find them kind of like creepy, but like in a fun way. Like I like lighthouses. So I found this game called The Lightkeeper that takes place at this lighthouse, and I started watching this YouTuber that I like play the game, and then I stopped watching because I was like, okay, I got to get this game for myself. So like I got like 10, 20 minutes into it and was like, I'm getting this. It was like $6 on Steam. Highly recommend it. I got it and I played through all of it. It only took me, the recording was only like an hour and 45 minutes. So like it only took me like an hour and 45 minutes to complete this game. But it was terrifying. There was multiple times where like I like screamed. There was one time I nearly threw the mouse. Just came out of my hand. Like it was just a very well done scary game. I love horror. I love writing horror, and I feel like I even learned a lot of really good techniques from playing this game of like what I can do with pacing and imagery that I can play with. But I was inspired by it. Like I don't know. It was a very good game. Excellent creepy story. I was intrigued the whole way through it, and because of its runtime, it almost feels like a movie in a sense. But yeah, The Lightkeeper, I think it's by a company called Dark Phobia Games. So that's an independent game. Also, just want to take a moment to say that these independent games are getting really good. Like the graphics and the storytelling and the gameplay was so amazing for like an independent game. It looked really good. Um, so these mainline video game companies are really going to have to step up their game when it comes to what's going on out there. But yeah, if anyone's interested, The Lightkeeper, um, $6 on Steam. It was the best $6 I think I've spent. And I
We've
got
both had pretty good luck with independent games recently because you and I played that game and Roger together not too
it
long
was very
ago.
good.
That was an incredible game as well.
That was very good. Yeah, the independent games right now I think are they're on it. They're telling incredible stories. Um, and I really enjoyed that one. So yeah, that was the game. That was the game I played. I'm also playing NASCAR 25. I started my career over on that, and I am 29 points behind William Sawalich for the championship going into the last two ARCA races. I'll be making a video on my ARCA journey when I'm completed, but hopefully I can win that championship. That'd be nice heading into the Truck Series.
I believe in you. You can do
Thank
it.
you. Yeah. So those are the games. Those are the games I've been playing. Oh, oh, holy crap. So, my sister and I, Adikashi, on Thursday nights on her channel, um, have been playing Phasmophobia. We used to play Phasmophobia as a group with our cousin years ago when the game first came out. As like beta. Is that what you would call it? Is that what the kids call it these days? Testing?
That's what all software companies call it.
Gotcha. So we did that and we were really good at it. We were really good ghost hunters. And we jumped on there the other day and we sucked. I played through 3 levels with an EMF reader before I realized that I hadn't been turning it on. So they've definitely updated the game. They've made it a lot better than when we were playing, more involved. So on Thursdays around 7 o'clock, we're gonna be trying to play Phasmophobia together. So that's something to check out if you want a little laugh there and watch us return to amazing ghost hunting form again.
Nice.
Yeah, wanted to put that plug out there. What are
I
you
uh
playing?
I have been playing mostly Pokopia. Uh as you know, I'm not a huge fan of games that like give me anxiety when I'm playing them. So I tend to play really chill games. And Pokopia has been very chill. I think I rolled credits on it this week, so I found
Nice.
out a little bit more about why all the humans are gone.
Okay.
Um, and I finally made it to that area of the island where I can do whatever I want. So
The
we're
creative
gonna be making
space.
some crazy houses coming up. Uh, I'm gonna try to pull some inspiration from the internet and some other things that I have in my head from years of playing that Jurassic World Evolution game with you.
Oh, I love that game.
So
It's one of my favorite games. I still play it.
yeah, that's another good chill game.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
but yeah, really enjoyed that game. It's really cute. And besides that, I've really just been cracking open other adorable games. Like I played a little bit of Yoshi's Crafted World again just for fun. And
I started playing that too. You recommended
it's
that, and
adorable. Yeah.
Yoshi's Crafted World is an adorable game. Yeah, you've recommended two. You recommended that one and Mario Odyssey, and I've been jumping back and forth between both of those, and I like both of them. Mario Odyssey is a really good Mario game. I really enjoy that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you missed them because you didn't have a Switch when they first came out, but
Yeah, I missed all of
uh,
that. I had the last Nintendo system that I owned was a Nintendo 64, and I never played Nintendo again. I was a PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I have a Switch. So I'm trying to go back and play some of those old games, those old Nintendo games I missed.
yeah. Also, coming up, I downloaded Pokemon Champions last night, so I'm gonna give that a shot. See how that goes. I
That's
imagine
that
it will
new
go
one.
very poorly,
Is that
but
that new one that's supposed to be kind of like the old Pokemon Stadium games for the N64?
yeah, it's a battle game.
I loved
Um,
I loved Pokemon Stadium.
I
That
don't
was
think I
fun.
know enough about the meta of Pokemon to actually pull this off, but I'm gonna try. And from what I've heard, the game does give you a little bit more info and balance things a little bit better than maybe just like general Pokemon has in the past. But I'm curious to give that a shot. And then I might be playing Hades 2 this week coming
Hades
up
2.
because I'm just genuinely curious and it was on sale.
All right.
So that'll be my week. But maybe the thing that I found most interesting this week while I was playing Pokopia, I was also watching The Pit,
Oh,
and
I love
what
The
an
Pit.
amazing show.
It is an amazing show.
I
I
mean,
will just say, I don't care for medical dramas. I've
yeah,
never really liked the formula of medical dramas. I did watch a little bit of House. Um, but in general, I really don't like medical dramas. Don't really care. Not really my thing. The Pit is amazing.
yeah,
The Pit is amazing. I could watch that every day. If they just had an episode every day, I could just watch that every day. That would never get old. The pacing of that show is just so hypnotic.
yeah,
In a way that you're just watching this and they're just going from room to room and helping these patients and it just feels so real and so lived in.
yeah,
And everyone does a great job at playing their roles to the point where I believe them to be nurses and doctors who are literally saving these people's lives or aren't trying to, and having the most stressful day of their life.
yeah.
Um, knowing, I think that's what's crazy is that we're watching them have the most stressful day of their life, but the way the show is laid out, that it's like this is just like Tuesday for them.
Yeah, it's a single day per season, and it really doesn't follow that format that other medical shows do. I mean, there's a little bit of that in there. So like most medical shows like House or even comedies like Scrubs, you're following them as they try to help like basically a single patient or a group of patients, but there's always that like diagnosis leading to on House it was like crazy absurd medical discovery, and on Scrubs it was
Mhm.
like somewhat a little bit of both. It was either like really routine or really weird. But in the pit, it's equal parts about the doctors trying to navigate how to be doctors and nurses, and also a little bit about the patients trying to navigate the medical system when it's like so fucked up in a lot of ways, and like the challenges that they're going through. And you don't get like not all threads are resolved. In fact, most threads are not resolved by the
All right.
time that the season is over. Like if you really like an actor who plays a patient, you may never know what happens to that person because
The
they get
day ended.
a
The
little bit of
shift
time with
ended.
the doctor, the shifts
Time to go
ends,
home. It's quitting time.
time to go home.
Yep.
It's crazy, and it's so well acted. The all of the actors in that show are incredible in the way that they write that show, going from like crazy medical emergency to them talking about their lives, to them dealing with depression and anxiety and stress, to like just real things that are happening, like ice infiltrating hospitals, or
Yeah, the pit went
just
woke.
yeah, people not being able to like afford medical care. Like all of that stuff is in there, and it's an incredible show. So
It
well done.
is very good show. Really loved it. I'm hooked now, and I cannot wait for season three.
Yeah, which is
Hopefully, we won't have to
unfortunate
wait
because
too long.
season 2 just ended.
Yeah, we'll have to wait a year, about a
I
year.
know.
But yeah, I'm hooked. I'm hooked, and I want to see more.
Same.
I want to see more.
Um, Also, we've been watching a little Daredevil on the side because I never saw the Daredevil show, so
I'm trying to
that's been
get you caught
fun.
up on that because I watched the show that was on Netflix, but I never saw Born Again, and so I'm trying to get you caught up one, and then we'll both go into Born Again pretty fresh. I think we watched like the first episode of that, but we'll go in pretty fresh, and then we can watch those. Also, The Punisher's coming back, and I'm really excited about that because I loved that Punisher show. John Barenthal does an amazing job at playing Frank Castle. The insanity that Frank Castle has as a human being, he really brings that to it. I used to love Thomas Jane's portrayal of the Punisher from the old Punisher movie, but he was heroic and you were rooting for him because you wanted him to get his revenge. But in the Punisher show, you can just tell that this is a man with deep psychological problems. This is a sick individual, and but I loved the portrayal that he gives to it, and the performance, and the both Daredevil and the Punisher are two really great shows from a Marvel on the street level, and not the cosmic alien fighting Avengers force that we get with the movies. The street level crime and stuff that the Marvel has been bringing to the television screens is really good,
Yeah, I can't
really
wait
good stuff.
to continue because I mean we did watch that first episode of Born Again and it was very interesting. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see the lead up to that episode and then everything that comes after it. I think will be really cool.
hmm hmm And I think that Daredevil Born Again's another show that's been trying to get pretty, um, tell some stories that are hit a little close to home, and what's going on. And
Because if you talk about real things these days, apparently you're woke.
yeah, exactly. If you tell real stories about real people, that's don't bring politics into that. But is the criticism. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing Born Again 1 and 2, because Born Again, and I don't know if this follows the Daredevil Born Again story. So I'm a huge Daredevil fan. Like I have a lot of Daredevil comics and boxes of Daredevil comics, and the Born Again story was one of my faves during the Frank Miller Daredevil run. It's really good stuff.
Any other nerdy things we want to bring up this week?
Nerdy things I want to bring up this week. I still want to see Project Hail Mary. I'm
Same.
trying to get to that. I hear that's a very good film, and people are seeing that multiple times, kind of like they used to when Titanic had come out. It reminds me of kind of like that. They released another trailer for Street Fighter. It's looking fun. I'm excited this year. Two really great fighting games are being adapted into movies. Mortal Kombat 2 comes out in a few weeks, and I would love to see that. Carl Urban is playing Johnny Cage. That's going to be fantastic. But the Street Fighter movie, I was a little more skeptical about it being good. And then I saw this latest trailer, and it looks like it's going to be really fun. Where Mortal Kombat looks like it might be more of a serious telling of that story. I think Street Fighter is going to try to go in a different direction and just be more fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be as good as Mortal Kombat 2, if that makes sense. Like, I think Mortal Kombat 2 will be a better movie, but I think Street Fighter will be more fun, if that makes sense to watch. Um, Also in trailers, Godzilla Minus Zero trailer dropped, and that was exciting because I think Godzilla Minus One is my favorite Godzilla movie,
It was a
and
great
so
one.
Minus Zero is coming out. So that's kind of nerdy trailer news, but you know, so that's all I got.
All right. Well, then that's it for us for our side quest this week. Yeah. Of course, as always, if you enjoyed that, please like or subscribe to the channel. And new episodes will drop on Thursdays at 6 a.m., or you can catch it as part of the full episode that drops on Tuesdays of Mildly Alarmed on YouTube, YouTube Music, and Spotify. Until next time.
Take it easy.